So selection gives us a good insight into the soul of the individual.
The large demons, the ones that cause you to quit, are the ones that you're dealing with yourself. It's you against yourself. And trust me on this one, SEAL training is no different. The demons are real. British SAS is by far the premier special forces unit in the world. All of the special forces units in the world have been built off of the SAS. Our Delta, our Dev Group, our Navy SEALs, everybody has come out of the British SAS. So, it's no surprise that the Australian SAS, old colony of Britain, has just another bad group of dudes over there protecting the world.
Highly secretive organisation. The identities of those who serve in it cannot be revealed.
The Special Air Service Regiment is the Australian government's ultimate problem solver.
To join this revered Special Forces group, you must first pass the selection course. The most physically challenging and psychologically demanding military selection process in the world.
What are you afraid of?
They need to have courage that would make a normal man crumble in fear.
Selection across the globe for special forces is a process with your own brain dealing with demons. It's you against everybody else. It's you against the course. It's you against the instructors. But really, the large demons, the ones that cause you to quit, are the ones that you're dealing with yourself. It's you against yourself. And trust me on this one, SEAL training is no different. The demons are real, and the demons get people.
And they need to have the perseverance that will ensure that they'll never ever accept mission failure.
Most who start will never finish. This is the search for warriors.
It's funny to me, everybody gets off a bus. Buses showing up in Perth, Australia. Everybody gets off a bus. Man, same bus, same place, different parts of the world. Selection is all the same.
It's day one of the SAS Selection course. Chosen from the best of the Australian military services, 130 men are at the start of a grueling 3-week test and a shot at becoming one of the world's elite soldiers.
I think everyone has nerves. I think you'd be lying if you said you didn't. It's just the unknown.
From this moment on, their every move will be scrutinised by the directing staff.
Notice the biggest difference here is they're not yelling at anybody. Nobody's motivating. Nobody's yelling. They're just grinding in their own brains. And that, my friends, is the scariest place of all to ever be.
Drawn from the classified ranks of the SAS, most of these men must remain in disguise. Although many of the candidates are already hardened soldiers, only a few will be left standing at the end.
Since we got back from Afghanistan, I've been training up for it. Yeah, can't wait.
You're going to see us look pretty messy because they push you hard. They need to find out if you've got what it takes.
And only some of those will be selected to commence training for the coveted Sandy Barrow.
There's some soldiers who are bred for this. They are just a warrior soldier, and all they want to do is serve their country and fight.
Over the next 21 days, these men will find out if they are made of the right stuff for the regiment.
If we look at this board, there's 130 people on here. I would challenge anybody to pick the people that are going to be standing there at the end. It's almost impossible. I tell everybody it's hard to know who's going to make it. It's easy to tell who won't. I probably could pick out 20 guys on here that are going to quit in the first probably 3 or 4 days. But finding the gems, finding them diamonds in the rough, that's what the selection process is for, and that's what it does.
We will break an individual down to see his true character. We'll see his strengths and we'll see his weaknesses. In situations where he's at the absolute limits of human endurance to come up with a solution to achieve the mission at the end of the day. So selection gives us a good insight into the soul of the individual.
During this time, they will be taught almost nothing. Instead, they will learn a lot about themselves.
Find out who I am, what I'm capable of, what my limits are. That's what I'm here to find out about.
I'm going to beg to differ. If you're showing up here to find out what your limits are and what you're capable of, you're probably not going to make it. I know when I got to the SEAL training, Coronado, I knew relatively what my limits were. I knew relatively what I was capable of. And I'm just going to say this, that program pushed me up to them, maybe even over in a couple swims. But for the most part, I was operating at about 90%, 85, 90%. So I had tested myself incredibly hard in college wrestling, college football, winning a state championship in high school. I knew what my limits were. And pushing right up to the edge of them, I mean, I knew what I was capable. So I beg to differ there a little bit. If you're going to a course to try to find yourself or test your might or figure it out, I'm a little worried about you.
Already in his mid-30s, for candidate 42, it's now or never.
It's something I've got to do, I think. I never wanted to get just sort of, I guess to 40 years of age and look back on my life and think, fuck, I really should have had a go at that and I didn't do it. That nothing worse than living with regret.
For 130, it's about much more.
Since about the age of 14, I've wanted to join the military. Since the age of about 17, I wanted to join the SAS. It's the family that I crave.
All the candidates have arrived, and the men ready themselves for an intense physical start.
Everyone's just waiting for a bomb to drop.
Okay, everyone, stop what you're doing, be quiet, listen in.
Instead, they are given a creative task.
You are to demonstrate your literacy and clarity of thought by submitting an erudite, inventive and stimulating essay about yourself. Your essay will be studied by selection course staff in order to find out more about you and why we might consider you for further SAS reinforcement training.
Stop the presses. I just failed out of Australian SAS selection. I gotta write a paper. At this point in my life, I was completely illiterate. That page would be full of incomplete sentences without punctuation and a ton of misspelled words. Well, we're about 3 minutes and 58 seconds into this video, and your boy just exited stage left because he's going to have to write an essay, and it ain't going to be good, and they're going to be laughing, and God help me if I ever have to write a report. Woo! I'm already done, folks. 3 minutes and 58 seconds in, they got me to write an essay. Now, I'm going to tell you how to found a workaround. I might have showed up with a couple essays already written. Pray to God they didn't change the topic.
It's a very open-ended question they get given, or set of questions they get given on that particular essay. So it's interesting to see what people actually bring up. You can actually glean a lot of information out of that, which we use later on down the track. From the psychological perspective, they're really looking for someone who has, I guess, resilience being a key factor. Someone who's, capable of getting on with the job, even when the chips are down, and really capable of dealing with that uncertain environment that's out there at the moment.
Next, the men are issued with their course kit. Now, any feelings of uncertainty are about to reach a whole new level.
All right,
You see a young man sitting there fidgeting with his hat? He's nervous. I get terrified of nervous people, man. You can't be nervous. You got to be hungry. You got to be wanting to get into it. You want that training to start. People that are super nervous terrifies me. You're going to have some nerves, but cats like that, they don't last very long because the stress of the place is already getting to them. That's a problem.
what I need you to do is take off all of your clothing, including your watch, your underpants, dog tags, and put them in a neat pile just to your rear.
A little bit different Australia TV. They got butts in here. They got butts. They're not quite as modest as we are in America with our uptight behavior. HR violations are coming. That's an HR violation right there. You know, FCC is throwing you a fine, but we in Australia, they don't care.
Okay, you should have 5 sets of military socks. Put 1 set.
So they got them broke down, man. Butt naked, standing out here. Looks familiar. Looks like a bunch of guys checking into prison on day 1. Only difference is they're not getting sprayed down for lice. They already in their heads. Already playing games. I call them the FF games, right? I'm going to let you surmise what FF is, but you get it.
On your feet and put the other 4 in the S-long bag. Stand up nice and straight when you're done.
The cause for us stripping them naked is to level them out. I mean, clearly there are some very fit blokes there. We populate the staff with as many women as possible also. It's another psychological ploy to play on their minds.
I love it. I love it. They got a bunch of hot chicks walking around commenting on their little wee-wees. Man, You want to steal a man's pride from him? Have a bunch of chicks walking around talking about, that's a little wee-wee. What are you doing with that? Are you really a man? Are you still 10 years old? I'm going to tell you right now, you got guys quit. So a comment from a female right now about the size of your penis, and you will quit in 2 or 3 days because it will start dwelling on you in this stress. I love it. They playing psychological games at the highest level. Got a bunch of women in there looking at the small wee-wees. Man, don't you want to be a guy in that lineup?
It's not a comfortable thing to be standing there nude with people all looking at you while you put your socks on. We adopt a method, we call it silent running, when it comes to dealing with the candidates. We don't give them any positive feedback, we don't give them any negative feedback. They won't be told they've done something well, nor done it badly, and that really will play on their minds quite a bit. Because in this modern society, people look for feedback on their performance, and they won't get any from us here.
All right, have a look at the floor in front of you. You should see some very important paperwork. Probably one of the most important. Your withdrawal at home request form. I want you to put that inside your wallet with your notebook.
They got to carry their DOR form, drop on request, with them at all times. Psychologically, another ploy. Make it easy on them to quit. Make it easy. All they got to do is reach in their pocket, pull it out, sign it, and they on their way. So when times get tough, it's right there in their pocket. I love the psychological games that are being played. I can't say it enough. Special Forces selection is all about psychological hardship and your ability to endure hardness as a good soldier.
Every candidate's issued a withdrawal and request form at this stage, and it's the only vehicle they have to get off this course. We basically don't remove people in the first phase of this course. They'll remove themselves. Either that or they'll be injured. And for some of them, when the mind games start playing in their own heads, they can feel it burning away in their pocket, and they have to have it on them at all times.
I'm just going to say this. My dude's rolling over and getting up. That Bergen is at least 70 pounds. That's real weight right there. Now, one of the things the SAS, Australian SAS, all of their counterparts love to do, heavy rucks. North of 70, 80, 100 pounds, ton of weight, and a lot of move, miles. Oh, well, in their case, kilometers, a ton of it. Hey, man, I'm telling you, 70 pounds is about where you just can't stand up. You got to roll over. 60 pounds and under, you pretty much can stand up with it. This dude's rolling over. They already got some weight in that bad boy.
Candidates now leave the barracks to travel to a bush camp where the real course begins.